Well, hello all and welcome back to the Pipe Cottage. I have a topic that I want to talk about for a few minutes today. Probably won't be a long video, but I was thinking about a Mark Twain quote. And it sort of struck a nerve. And the quote is, I think, this might not be exactly right, but he said something to the effect that sanity and happiness are an impossible combination. And I knew exactly what he meant by that. I knew exactly what he meant by that. I seldom read comments on my content that strike a nerve as much as a comment that I received maybe in the last video. I don't think there was any ill will intended from the comment, but this person said the point of the comment was that since I've become Catholic and since I have been engaging with political discourse in public, primarily through this channel, that I don't seem as happy as I used to be. That I don't seem as peaceful as I used to be. That something's changed. And I'm sure that person was intending to make me feel sorry for myself. But I think that's probably true. When I was a teenager, and even during the course of my 20s, I was ignorant about a lot of different things. Ignorant about how life progresses, about how different people engage with one another, and really a lot of ignorance about the world and the nature of the world, even though I've been reading books and studying history for years and years. There's this common denominator that I've noticed among people who know too much. You are always on the verge of depression. You are always just on the verge of depression, and you have to work very hard to stay out of that trajectory. This will sound like hubris, but I see things that other people don't see. We came into the Catholic Church, and I see things within the Catholic Church that perhaps people who were born into it haven't seen. A lot of conflict. And I was concerned about this in recent days, and I contacted a good friend of mine who's a deacon in one of our parishes here in Kentucky. And I said, I'm concerned about the massive amount of conflict that exists within the church. And he told me something that was very striking, and I don't think I've had so many theological and intellectual, spiritual conversations with this man, who is also the godfather of our children. And he told me, said the default position of the church is always that of crisis. Not only is the church fighting within itself, but the church as a whole is having to fight the world. The profound nature of that statement is something you could try to extrapolate that and really tune in to the meaning of that statement, and it would take weeks, if not months, to really flesh all of it out, what that means. Is sanity and happiness able to coexist with one another? The happiest people that I know at my age in life The happiest people that I know are oblivious. They're quite ignorant. They receive happiness from entertainment, a good paycheck. Perhaps they take a vacation and they enjoy that, and they just find moments in life where they can create their own happiness, interject their happiness. But the more a man grows up and sees the turmoil of this fallen world that we live in, the more you read, the more you learn, the more you think and ponder on big topics and big issues, the more spiritual warfare becomes a serious reality in your everyday life, a very serious reality. Now, I'm not talking about joy. Joy is something completely different. My joy comes from my relationship with Jesus. My joy comes from the fact that I don't have to wait to go to confession to talk to Jesus. I can walk across my property and I can simply talk to him. That is a source of joy. Simply knowing Christ, seeking Christ is the source of joy, the ultimate and final source of joy. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go around with a smile on my face all the time. I am not happy about the trajectory of modern society. I'm not happy about the current status of American politics or American religion. I'm not happy with the fact that most people do not take the time to learn anything that's important. I'm not happy with the fact that who won the football game is more important to the majority of Americans than who won the last election. I'm not happy with the lack of historical understanding, the lack of literary understanding, and the vast amount of disrespect that's shown towards history and towards the historical documents that, in particular, founded our country. I'm not happy with the fact that we live in a fallen world. I'm not happy about sin and its ever-increasing power over our culture and our society. Knowing stuff comes with a price because you're responsible for the things you know. I was having a discussion with a close family member, email correspondence recently, about the Catholic Church. This person is of the belief that the Catholic Church is a false religion. And I told this person that I did not join the church to be more popular or to gain something from it culturally or socially. I joined it with the full knowledge that it would cost me something, that it would cost peace with my family and my culture, that it would in fact create conflict. But I also argued that I'm responsible for what I now know and what I now understand. Now, this is just an example that I'm using to get the point across, but for years, I didn't know anything about the Catholic Church. Didn't want to know anything. I was taught as a child that it was insignificant, that it was in fact a false religion. I was taught that Catholics are simply not Christians. And for no reason at all, for no reason, in this study, in this chair that you're looking at right here, I was reading some random history book one day, and the thought passed my mind, why are you not Catholic? And it quickened my spirit. It stopped my entire train of thought. It was the focus of the next 3 or 4 months of study. I couldn't answer the question. Why are you not Catholic? And no one can convince me that that was not the divine power of the Holy Spirit of God putting the point to my mind, pointedly asking, why are you not Catholic? I studied for months. I read the entire catechism. I read Chesterton and C.S. Lewis. Lewis, of course, was not Catholic, but I went back and I read materials that I'd had on my shelf but never took the time to read because I thought they were irrelevant to me as a Protestant. And so the more I learned, the more I became responsible for what I knew. And I reached a point, finally, where I concluded, and my wife agreed, that we had to join the Catholic Church because we had come to the conclusion that it was true, that we were being called by God to do this because it's true. I, at that point, became responsible for the knowledge that I had gained about the church, and I had to take action. And that action was joining the church, being confirmed, baptizing my children in the church, seeking the spiritual advice of a local priest, moving closer and closer to Jesus through the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. But the more I learn about the sad state of humanity, the more I am unhappy. I see that there's some false security among many Americans regarding things that they think are secure. We won't outline all of those right now. But there's a false sense of security, which is creating a false sense of contentment and a false sense that everything is now okay. Everything is not okay. What irritates me, perhaps more than anything regarding American culture, is the indifference among the people who are within it. Complete indifference. Why do I need to care about this issue? Why do I need to care about this large, important issue, which may in fact have eternal consequences? Multiple people have told me, just stick with pipe content. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I have no interest in doing that. Talking about pipes and tobacco is fun. It's wonderful. It's something that is a blessing to me and a blessing to many people who watch this channel. But there are multiple pipe and pipe smoking centric channels that you can watch. Nobody is putting a gun to your head and telling you that you have to watch what I produce. So just shut up about it. I'm interested in big topics, large issues of historical, theological, philosophical, and eternal significance. If that's not your cup of tea and you're simply watching this channel for entertainment, then this is not the place for you. The whole entertainment and marketing world is vying for the attention of every single person on the planet. You have to decide where you're going to place your attention, who you will pay attention to, what you will pay attention to. Got another comment from a person today who said, well, it seems like the focus of the pipe cottage is shifting. You are more interested in discord and politics than you are the old videos where you mention simplicity and a God-centered lifestyle. I enjoy a simple way of life, but I have no tolerance for simple-mindedness. Sanity and happiness, can they coexist? If I have my druthers, I'd rather be sane than artificially happy all the time. Dr. Harrelson, you're just more angry. You seem more angry these days. I am angry. I have what's probably called a righteous indignation towards stupidity, towards the decline of our American civilization. And it is declining. Those are the things that I care about. I care about what kind of country my children will inherit. I'm not worried about what kind of faith they will inherit. That's taken care of. And that's the ultimate objective. That is the ultimate reality. But I know that my children are going to have to face problems that I can't even fathom. They will have to face a world of increased demoralization, deracination. And I don't know really how to best prepare them for that. But I don't think it's a bad thing for them to remember Daddy as being angry with the way the modern world has screwed us over. Modern life sucks. It's my way or the highway. Me, 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 me. A self-centered, arrogant society. One that has tried everything in its power to replace God with technology, science, and materialism. I'm not happy about none of that. Sanity and happiness cannot possibly coexist. Maybe Mark Twain had a point. This is Alan Harrelson with the Pipe Cottage. Thank you for stopping by.